Hello my dear students, welcome to the class of social science. In today's class, let us continue the history chapter, the Mughals and the Marathas. In last class, we discussed about the political achievements of greatest ruler of Mughals, he is Akbar. In today's class, we will continue with Akbar's religious policy. How was the religious policy of Akbar? Yes, students, Akbar had close interaction with his mother, teachers and Sufi saints. So, he had the ability or he could break the chain of orthodoxy. He had break the chain of orthodoxy because he had close interaction with his mother, teachers and Sufi saints. Okay. Akbar had close interaction with his mother, teachers and Sufi saints. Because of that reason, he could break the chain of orthodoxy. Right? And he had allowed his Rajput wives to perform puja in his palace. Okay? Rajput wives were allowed in his palace to perform pujas. This will give the information how Akbar had religious tolerance. Okay, and he had ordered against harassing women and children of enemy state. Okay, he had ordered against harassing women and children of enemy state. Okay, if the children and women are belongs to enemy states, Akbar not allowed them to harass. Okay, he had also ordered not to arrest Hindus who did not take part in war. Okay, against Akbar, Hindus who did not take part, they should not be arrested. He ordered to his people not to arrest such Hindus who will not take part in the war. They should not be arrested. Okay, and turn them into slaves. Okay, who didn't take part in the war, they should not be arrested, but turn them as a slaves. That is the one important point you have to remember. And he also ordered against the conversion of such Hindus into Islam. Akbar ordered to conversion of such Hindus who are not taking part in the war against Akbar to Islam religion, right? And he abolished jizya head tax of Hindus. That is a great achievement of Akbar. He abolished jizya, that is a head tax of Hindus. Earlier, Hindus of Delhi region should pay jizya, head tax to Mughal emperor. But when Akbar assumed power, he cancelled or he abolished the jizya head tax on Hindus. And he translated the Hindu religious books into Persian languages. He translated Hindu religious books into Persian language. Okay. And he showed respect towards qualified Hindus by appointing them to high positions. Okay. He showed respect to qualified Hindus by appointing them in high positions. Okay, that also shows the religious tolerance of Akbar. Okay, among the Hindus, Raja Todarmal was a famous minister of finance department of Akbar's kingdom. Okay, Raja Todarmal. Finance minister of Akbar. Okay, Raja Todarmal. And along with Raja Todarmal, other Hindus, other qualified Hindus who assumed high positions in Akbar's kingdom, they are Bhagwan Das, Man Singh, Todarmal and Rai Singh. They are the governors. Todarmal also a finance minister, and he assumed one more position, that is governor position, and Bhagwan Das, Man Singh and Rai Singh were the others who occupied the position of governors under Akbar's kingdom. Okay, there were 8 Hindus among the 12 provincial finance ministers. Okay, Akbar had 12 provincial finance ministers. Among them, 8 belongs to the community of Hindu. That clears that how Akbar gave respect for Hindus in his court, how he respected the qualified Hindus by giving high positions. Okay. Next, Akbar directed that the festivals of Rakhi, Deepavali and Shivaratri should be celebrated in his court. Okay, Akbar directed. Okay, he directed to celebrate the festivals like Rakhi, Deepavali and Shivaratri in his court. Okay, that clears that how he has religious tolerance, how he gave respect for the festivals of other religion also. Next, about the new religious association founded by Akbar, that is Din-e-Ilahi. Din-e-Ilahi. Akbar established a new religion or religious association, that is Din-e-Ilahi in 1582. In 1582. The best aspects of all the religions were present in the new religion. Okay. Best aspects of all religions were included in the new religion founded by Akbar, that is Din-e-Ilahi. Din-e-Ilahi included all the best aspects of the religions of the world. Okay, and the religion was the result of discussion held at Ibadat Khana. Ibadat Khana. Okay, where the discussion will take place. Okay. Ibadat Khana, where the discussion will take place, and in that Ibadat Khana, Hindus, Jains, Zoroastrians, Christians were participated. The scholars of Hindu, Jains, Zoroastrian and Christians were participate to take discussion regarding various religious aspects, and in that best aspects Akbar will included in the Dini Ilahi, and he sought to integrate all the people of his kingdom through the new religion. Okay, Akbar sought to integrate. He sought to integrate all the people of his kingdom through the new religion, that is Dini Ilahi. Abdul Fazl was the chief architect of this religion. Okay, the chief architect of Dini Ilahi Abdul Fazl. He was the chief architect of the religion Dini Ilahi, which was founded by Akbar. Okay, it believed in one God, culture and good behavior. Okay, Dini Ilahi believed in one God, culture and good behavior. That is about Akbar's new religion, that is Dini Ilahi. Okay. Next, we have to discuss about Akbar's administrative system. Okay, about religious policy we discussed Akbar's administrative system. How was the administrative system of Akbar? Okay. For administrative convenience, Akbar had divided his kingdom into central government, provincial government and paraganas. Central government, provincial government and paraganas. These are the administrative divisions of Akbar kingdom. Okay, for the administrative convenience, Akbar divided his kingdom into three divisions, three administrative divisions. That three administrative divisions are central government, provincial government and paraganas. Next, Akbar was the emperor of a vast kingdom. Akbar was the emperor of a vast kingdom and the commandant of his army, head of the executive and head of the judiciary. Right? Akbar was the emperor of vast kingdom and he was the commandant of his army and head of the executive and head of the judiciary. Okay. Akbar played a role of emperor of vast kingdom. Was the emperor of vast kingdom. Then head of the army, head of the executive and he is the head of the judiciary. Okay. There were four ministers called Wakil, Diwan, Mir Bakshi and Main Sardar. Okay. Wakil, Diwan, Mir Bakshi, and main Sardar. Are the four ministers under the administration system of Akbar. They will give assistance to king time to time. Okay, and he had divided the kingdom into various provinces. Akbar divided his kingdom into various provinces, and they were called as Subhas. Provinces of Akbar kingdom were called as Subhas. Subhas means provinces of Akbar. Akbar divided his kingdom into various provinces, and that provinces are called as Subhas. And there were altogether 15 Subhas in Akbar's kingdom. Total Subhas. Okay. Total provinces in Akbar's kingdom 15, and each Subha had a Sipaha Salar. Okay, each Subha is controlled by Sipaha Salar. Okay, Sipaha Salar means that is equivalent to the position of a governor. Okay, Sipaha Salar means governor, who is the head of the administrative division of a Subha or each province. Each province is headed by Sipaha Salar, governor. Okay, a Diwan, a Bakshi, a Sardar, a priest, a constable, and a Vakya Navis. Okay, each Sabha is controlled by Sipaha Salar, governor, a Diwan, a Bakshi, a Sardar, a priest, a constable, and a Vakya Navis. Right? Every district had a Fauzdar. Under Akbar's administrative system, every district had a Fauzdar. Every district had a Fauzdar. And Amal Gujar and a Batikchi. Amal Gujar and Batikchi. Okay, Amal Gujar and Batikchi. These officers will take care of every district. Okay, Fauzdar, Amal Gujar, and Batikchi. And the administration of the Parganas was carried out by Shikdar, Amir, Potadar, and Kanungo. Okay, the administration of the Parganas. The administration of Parganas will be carried out by Shikdar, one officer or leader, Amir, Potadar, and Kanungo. Okay, Potadar and Kanungo. These are the officials who are working in each Parganas. Shikdar, Amir, Potadar, and Kanungo. Akbar had established many hierarchies in his army. Akbar established many hierarchies in his army. These are called mansabs. The hierarchies established by Akbar in his army are called as mansab, and its supervisor was called mansabdar. supervisor of Mansab are called as Mansabdars. Okay, there are many hierarchies established by Akbar in his army that are called as Mansabs, and the head of the Mansabs are called as Mansabdars. Okay, and there were infantry, cavalry, elephant units and cannon units in the Mughal army. Okay, infantry, cavalry, elephant units and cannon units in the army of Mughals. During the time of the Akbar's rule, there were infantry, cavalry, elephant units and cannon units in the Mughal army, right? And there was a separate department to stamp the horses known as Dag Mahali. Okay, Dag Mahali. It's a unit of stamping horses. Okay, stamping horses unit, that is called as Dag Mahali. Okay, that was a separate unit where the horses will be stamped. Okay, this is about the Akbar's administrative system. Important points. Next, we will move towards Akbar's revenue system. How was the revenue system of Mughals under the rule of Akbar? Okay. This was one of the important achievements of Akbar's administration. Revenue system was one of the important achievements of Akbar's administration. Okay, because he brought Jupti system into practice. In administration, Akbar brought Jupti system into practice. Under the revenue system, Akbar brought Jupti system into practice. It is called as the system of Todarbal. Jupti system is also called as system of Todarbal. The financial minister and also governor of Akbar's empire. Right? System of Todarbal, Jupti system. Next, bamboo measuring sticks were there with iron hooks were used to measure the land. Bamboo measuring sticks. Which are hooked by iron. Okay, were used to measure the land, and the land was classified as Polaj, Parauti, Chachar and Banjar. Based upon the fertility of the land, there were 4 divisions of land under Akbar's army. One is Polaj, very fertile, Polaj, Parauti, one more type of land, Parauti, and one more type of land, that is Chachar, and the least fertile land, that is Banjar. Okay, Polaj, Parauti, Chachar and Banjar are the classification of land under Akbar's kingdom. Right? Next, with the exception of Banjar, means barren land. With the exception of Banjar land, based upon the fertility of the soil, all the other land was classified as excellent, average and mediocre. excellent, average and mediocre, and this is a barren land. Banjar means barren land where we cannot grow crops in a good manner because of less fertility of the soil. Okay, and each farmer was given a patta, right? In that Akbar's land tax revenue system, each farmer was given a patta land. Next, the police system during Akbar's time was well organized and capable. Right, well organized and capable police system was there under the rule of Akbar, and the police system was well organized and capable. There were police stations in the parganas. In each parganas there was a police station, and Akbar encouraged art and architecture also. Okay, along with political expeditions and other developments, Akbar also encouraged art and architecture. The important monuments in Fatehpur Sikri are Khwaja Bhaga, Daftara Khana, Jodhabai Palace, Daulata Khana, Panchmahal, Birbal House, Kabutar Khana, etc. Okay, these are all the important monuments of the time of Akbar. All are there at Fatehpur Sikri. Right? After Akbar, his elder son Jahangir came to power. After the death of Akbar, his elder son Jahangir came to power, and he provided good administration and continued all the policies of Akbar. Jahangir continued all the policies of Akbar, and he provided good administration to the people of Delhi. Right? And he had personal restrictions. He had personal as well as matrimonial relationships with Rajputs. Okay, Jahangir had personal relationship and matrimonial relationships with the Rajputs, and he liberalized few restrictions against the ruler of Mewar. Okay, he liberalized few restrictions against the ruler of Mewar, which was imposed by the earlier Mughal rulers. And Jahangir personally led an attack on Mewar ruler in 1613 CE. Okay, personally he led an attack over Mewar in the year of 1613 CE and defeated the ruler of Mewar. Right? After him, his son Shah Jahan came to power. Okay, one more great ruler of Mughal dynasty, Shah Jahan. Okay, we can consider he is the second greatest ruler among the Mughals after Akbar, Shah Jahan. Okay, why Shah Jahan became popular ruler among the Mughals, and what are his contributions to Mughal empire in the field of administration, art, architecture, culture and other aspects that we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.